Hello and welcome people of the internet to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, please hit that like and subscribe button down below. It helps out a lot. So today we're going to be revisiting one of my oldest series on this channel. We're going to be visiting what IVs and EVs are, but up to date with new methods of EV training, new methods of IV training. Well, not so new, but how they've approached it in this new game of Sword and Shield. So, first off, what is an IV? What is an EV? So, an IV is a special value that a Pokemon holds. As you can see here, I've got my IV checker open for this Oddish. It has 31 points in HP, and not 0, not 31 in attack and defense and speed, but 31 in special attack and special defense. Now, what does this mean? So, we don't know from the IV checker exactly how many points are in each one. You can guesstimate based on whether it says pretty good, fantastic, or decent. Fantastic usually means it's around the 30 mark, not quite 100, not quite 31, not quite, like, I think it's like 25, 26 is the cap before fantastic. So, what does this mean? We have 31 in HP, special attack, and special defense. This means that at level 100, this Pokemon is going to get 31 extra points to that stat. But what does it mean for level 50? Now, I consulted a friend of mine who actually battles primarily at level 50, because I'm primarily a level 100 battler, being a Smogon player. So, what he told me was, at level 50, you take that stat value and halve it. So instead of getting 31, you're going to get 15, because it rounds down to the nearest number. So instead of being 15.5 or 16, it rounds down to 15. Now you might be wondering, well, I might as well have one that has 30 IVs. Well, that's where EVs come in. An EV is a special trait that you get from battling with a Pokemon, or you can use protein, or you can use like any of the vitamins or the wings. These will help you add to this Pokemon's points. You can add up to 252 EVs to a single stat. Now, for this, let's have a look at what's a good example. I think a good example here would be... Actually, Lopunny is a good example here. So, Lopunny has got perfect attack, perfect speed, and 4 in defense. Now, what does this mean? This might mean to you, oh, well, does that mean it's getting 4 extra points in defense? Well, this thing's been IV'd and EV'd for level 100, obviously being that it's one of my Pokemon. So, those 4 points in defense mean that it's going to add 1 point on. Now, for level 50, this could be different. It entirely depends on the EVs. This is where the 31 points in IVs actually helps at level 50. Because a starting point in a stat for level 50 is determined by how many IVs you have in that stat. So, if you have 31, which is recommended, then a starting point will be 4 points, 4 EVs to add 1 point to that stat. Now, at level 100, it doesn't matter. You start at 4, you end at 252. Every 4 along the way gives you 1 point. But the reason it matters for level 50 is those 4 points could go into another stat. Also, after the first point, it's going to cost you 8. So if you have a perfect 31, it's going to be 4, then 8 to add 2 points to your stat, totaling at 12. If you start at, say, 30 IVs, it's going to go 8, then 8, meaning it's going to cost you 16. That's 4 points you've lost. That's one whole stat. That's one whole point in a stat. So if this was level 50, I could instead put 4 points in defense, 4 points in special defense. But if it's at level 50 and I've got 30 in defense, while the IVs don't matter, that 1 point doesn't matter in level 50 for IVs, For EVs, it is a whole nother value. You might be thinking, 1 point, well, what difference does that make? 1 point can be the difference. Well, you've seen Invincible Sashes if you've watched battle streams. An Invincible Sash in HP. 1 point in HP could be the difference between losing my Lopunny and keeping it. That 1 point is worth a lot. So, 252. Well, that might be straightforward. Oh, I want to do as much damage as I can. Not every Pokemon does. Let's have a look-see now at one of my defensive Pokemon. Ferroseed is over there. I think you have a mixed defensive stat. So you see, I've got not perfect in HP, but perfect in defense. That's because I don't always want to have a maximum of every stat that I'm looking to use. Sometimes you might want to sacrifice a bit of HP, so you can put that bit in special defense, which is what I've gone and done here. I've got to mix my HP, defense, and special defense because this thing is looking to take hits. And I kind of want it to be able to take a hit on the special side, so I've mixed my stats. That might seem crazy, but sometimes it's what you have to do. Now this thing is built for level 100 battles, but I haven't finished leveling it up yet. So, why do we do this? Why do we increase our stats for battling? Well, that's pretty simple. If you're battling, you want to be able to take hits, you want to be able to dish them out. But what you got to do is find that balance. Finding the balance is a very crucial thing to do. So, what is the balance? How do you know what that is? Well, one of the most simple ways of doing it is try the Pokemon app before you raise it. There's a very nice website called Pokemon Showdown. It's run by Smogon, and it allows you to test out Pokemon. You can test them out against your friends, you can test them out against random people. But it gives you the perfect platform to build your Pokemon, test them out. So I use that quite a bit. Or, there's damage calculators. You can work out damage calculators against Pokemon you're looking to battle against. Maybe your friends have a favorite Pokemon. I mean, let's use my friend, for example. He has a Garbantia that he loves to use. And that means maybe I want to test what my Pokemon can do against the Garbantia. Maybe I know the attacks it's likely to use, maybe I don't. So, what I would do is I'd pull up this calculator and go, well, can this thing take a Bug Buzz? Can it take a Thunder? If the answer is yes, then maybe I don't need to put any more into that stat value. Maybe that's the most common Pokemon I'm going to go up against. So, you don't want to just do that. If you're looking to get into competitive battling, you want to look at what the top Pokemon are. So, at the moment, if you're looking to get into doubles, you'd want to look at Whimsicarts. You'd want to look at, let's say, Dracovish. Dracovish is a very commonly played Pokemon currently. Volcanion. No, not Volcanion. Volcarona. That's the one. I always get those two names mixed up. It's right here as well. Maybe you want to look at Volcarona, because that's a very heavily played Pokemon in both doubles and singles right now. So, you want to look at what the top Pokemon are if you're looking to get into competitive. If you're just looking to battle, like, amongst your friends, sure, you can actually go, well, these are the Pokemon I'm going up against. But if you're looking at going competitive, you want to look at the top Pokemon used. And then be able to take a hit from them while still dishing one back out. So I'm in a draft league right now. I checked my Pokemon against my opponent's Pokemon. And this Ferrothorn, it's looking to use Gyro Ball. So what I've done is I've gone down to 0 speed in, 0 speed IV, 0 speed EVs with a negative speed nature. The nature is another thing. It's going to add less at level 50 than it would at level 100, but it still matters because decreasing the wrong stat could mean the difference between you actually taking a hit and dishing one out. You might have seen when I was going through my boxes there, I have a very weird looking Dragapult right here. It's got minus speed nature. Now that was a competitive choice chosen by me based on the Pokemon I was going to be battling against. On the negative speed nature, it was still able to outspeed my opponent's fastest Pokemon. So then that freed up points for me to put into my attack, because then I could make a mixed attack and capitalize on U-turn. So how do we work out what stats we put into what stats we don't? So you can do the stats before you've chosen your moves if you know the type of moveset you're going for. So if you know you're going to go for a mixed attacker, you can probably work out, well, how much am I dealing on the physical side? How much do I want to deal on the physical side? Am I having 2 moves, 3 moves? How many moves of each type am I going to be running? So I knew that I was only going to be running U-turn. That means that I didn't capitalize on it as much as I could have. You can see that I've gone up to 297. 297 was all I needed for U-turn to deal enough damage to an Umbreon. That's what I needed. So I then went, okay, now I can put all the rest into my special attack after I'd put into speed enough to outspeed. 335. Okay, these aren't the exact EVs. These aren't the exact points. These are level 100. This is a level 50 Dragapult. But that's beside the point. It's all dependent on what moveset you're running. As you can see here, Body Press. Body Press is a new move that requires your defense stat to be as high as it can. That means you can go a defensive set without needing to put into your attack stat. Obviously, I have for this one for Brave Bird. But that's these are the types of movesets that you want to look at. My Chansey doesn't need anything in attack or special attack. Frees up more points for its special defense and defense. Now there's the next point. How do I know if I want to put into defense or HP? Well, you don't. HP and defenses work differently. So HP is how much you can take, defense is how much you can absorb. Obviously that might mean, well, why would I want to have a max defensive stat? Why would I ever want to put into HP? You can absorb so much, but the more HP you have, the more that's what runs over can deal to you. So it's like, if you have a Chansey on 282, Torkoal on 282 HP, that means that's how much it can take. And you also then want to think, well, you can't maximize defense and special defense without sacrificing offense. So you then want to think, well, I still need to take a hit on the side that I've not invested in. Let's say I've invested 252 in defense, 252 in special attack, and nothing into HP. Well, what am I going to do on the special defense side? I'm not going to take as good hits on the special defense side because, well, I haven't invested and I don't have as much HP as I could. So try to keep a balance. Sometimes it's worth going 252 for offensive output, or that's the Pokemon you're looking to switch in on as a physical. But then sometimes you need to have enough bulk to take a special hit. Because when it comes down to the 1v1, you won't have the luxury of choosing what you're up against. So let's have a look at some level 50 sets. These are all level 100, but they're made for level 50 sets. So we've got, this is the spread that you can see with the finalized points. Now if you press X, you can see how much EV investment you've got into it. So this round one's mixed on the attack and special defense side with some in HP. It's built to take special attacks. So I ended up doing the calcs, and sometimes you'll find that HP investment will actually do more for you than special defense investment. So when I was doing these calcs, I realized, well, okay, I need to put so much in HP because special defense just isn't decreasing it enough. So that's what I did. And as you can see, it's a purely offensive Pokemon, but I've gone full on defense. So how do we get these magical EVs that matter so much? Well, we can get them like this. I'm going to cycle over here. Oh look, there's the Stuffle. Now, Stuffle gives 1 point in attack. So, if I'm looking to raise an offensive attacker, what I want to do is, I want to go fight, and let's say Air Slash. Hey, down goes Stuffle. Now, you guys have probably always seen this screen. Your Pokemon gain XP points. But wait, where's the EV points? It doesn't tell you. So, what matters here is my Pokemon have the potential to gain XP. Noivern, Dugtrio, and Bisharp will all get one attack EV. Colossal will not because it is fainted. I've purposely left it fainted. But where do we see it? We don't. It shows up in that screen that I just showed you. So what is Bisharp holding right here? Well, Bisharp's the only one on this team that can actually get EVs because everything else is maxed out. Now what Bisharp is holding there is something that helps when you're going out and battling a wild Pokemon. So I'm going to scroll down here until I find it. They're around here somewhere. There they are. These are called power items. Now, power item, power bracer, belt, lens, band, anklet, and weight. Now, what these do is they boost your EV gains. So, if I'm battling against, say, that Stuffle, I'm going to get 1 point normally. With these, I'm going to get an extra 8 on top of that. I'm going to get a total of 9 EVs in attack for battling one Pokemon. Correct me if I'm wrong with that. I believe that's the case. Haven't looked the exact numbers for a while. Obviously, I don't normally need to because I don't really use them that often. Only when I'm leveling them up while I'm EV training them. Because what I normally use is these. Now, these are magical items here that you can purchase. Well, these ones you can. These ones you have to find. The DLC helps with these though. And what these do is they add 10 points of a certain EV to the Pokemon you use them on. So, let's use Protein. On Bisharp, well, it's maxed out in attack. Really? Okay, Carbos. Choose Carbos. Base V points grows. How do you know how much it grows by? Well, that's where people like me and the places like Cerebi come in. If you look on there, you'll see that each of these items will boost by 10 points. So, it used to be you were capped at only using 10 of them at a time. But they've actually, as of Sword and Shield, they've increased that. It now can be used up to the maximum that a Pokemon can get. Amazing! Fantastic! But you don't want to use more than 25 at a time. You can use 26 and boost it all the way up to maximum, but that last one you're using, you're losing 8 points in. You cannot go over 252. So, what's the point of being able to use them 26 times? It saves you from having to look for these wonderful creations brought to us by Gen 5. 5, yeah. These items right here boost your stat by 1 point each. Health, muscle, resist, genius, clever, and swift. So they boost by 1 point. That means that I can now go 1 point in Bisharp. Oh look, I just gained 1 speed point. Wonderful. So what you do is you use these 25 times, and then these 2 times. That gives you a maximum stat. But you have to make sure you're using the right one, because obviously there's Swift, Clever, Genius, Resist, Muscle, and Health. 1 for each stat point. Now, you're not always going to be using the exact amount. You don't always want to have exactly 252 or anything like that. So, what if you only want to say, let's have 88? Well, you use 8 of the respective vitamin, and then you use 8 more of the respective feather. That gives you the 88. What happens if I mess up on a stat? Well, we also have items for that. Went too far. There we go. Hondu, Qualot, Kelpsie, Pomeg, Greppa, and Tomato berries. These wondrous berries, which can be found at certain trees in the wild area. Well, they help you out a lot, because what these berries mean is, they mean that you can now decrease by 10 points a certain stat if you've messed up on the EV training. You're not always going to get it right first time. Sometimes you're going to get it right with what you think is correct. You're going to test it out and go, wait, that's wrong. I'm not getting what I want out of this. Well, that's when you come to this. You can mix and match. Now, what you need to remember is, if you've maxed out a stat to 252, and then you decide later on you want to change it, you use one of these, that decreases it by 10. Now, 10 isn't exactly free EVs, free points in EVs. What that means is, you're going to want to use the feathers then to increase by 2. If you want to remove 2 points from a stat to add to another stat, you want to use 2 feathers to increase it to the 3rd point. So you'll bring it down by 8 then. Or if you say you want to just take out 1 point in your stat, you will then use 6. So they're not perfect. They don't perfectly remove 3 stats. They don't perfectly remove 1 stat. But it takes a little bit of work, and that's what I'm here to help you know how to do. So where can we get these berries from? Well, I'm going to pause the recording here, and I'll be right back at the berry tree. And we're back. So right here in the wild area, you can see where I am. Let's look over there. So now you can see over there, that's the town. If you want to know where to fly to the daycare in the wild area, and then you want to cycle right here to these free trees. Now, what these free trees give you is, let's shake this tree up here. Qualot citrus. Shake it again. 2 qualots, 1 pasho. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I don't want to encounter Pokemon right now. So these trees by here give you the stat reduction berries. There are also trees dedicated to each individual one of them in the Isle of Armor, but obviously not everyone has this, the DLCs. So, see, Hondu, and more Hondus on the window. Well, the Hondus are the stat reduction berries there. So, obviously, you can find each and every individual tree in the wild area of the DLC. And that's amazing, but like I said, not everyone has them. Just wanted to show you each of the trees. There's the pom eggs. So, those are incredibly helpful. Now, I taught you how to get the each of your EVs, but what I haven't taught you is, how do we get IVs? Now, I know this might be simple, everyone might be screaming at their phones or computers, whatever you're watching me on right now. By the way, if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and like button, helps out a lot. But what I haven't taught you is, how do we get them? Because not everyone knows, not everyone understands, this is how we get the IVs. Now, the IV checker you can get by defeating the champion in the first run through of the battle tower. Now, what you just saw here is an auto chatting. Did I forget to pause the recording? No. I was cycling around purposely trying to get this egg to hatch, because what I wanted to show you was the IVs on this egg I just hatched. And why do I want to show you this? Because look at those IVs. Nearly perfect. All I'm missing is speed. Was this completely accidental? Did I hack this egg in to show you this? No. What I did was a simple method that anyone can do, which is breeding for IVs using a destiny knot. Now, one thing you saw as I was panning through my boxes earlier was Ditto box. Dittos, dittos, dittos. Now, each of these dittos has certain IVs. IVs that are desirable. This one's missing speed. This one has perfect in everything. This one is missing speed and defense. Now, the defense is not desirable, but the speed being no good is. Because sometimes you want to have 0 speed for Trick Room teams, or for Gyro Ball tricks. And then this one's missing special attack. Now, these are good, because these can be bred with a Destiny Knot. Now, Destiny Knot will mean that you'll take randomly 5 IVs from both of the parents and then pass them on to the egg. That means that you can actually sort of trick the game and try to make it so you get really good egg hatches like this oddish for here that I just hatched. So, is that the only thing that we can do with this breeding method? No. The oddish, like all the other oddishes I'll show you now, that I've been breeding over these last few days, they all have the exact same nature. This means that I've somehow tricked it into giving me the same nature. That was no trick. I've done this by doing the Everstone. So, by putting an Everstone on the oddish, that is the parent, or it could be the ditto as well, depends on which one has the nature you want, you can make sure that that nature is then passed down onto the egg that you are raising. The Destiny Knot does not have to be on a specific parent because the IVs are taken randomly from both parents, but the Everstone does. You have to put the Everstone on the one that you want to pass down the nature. That's good because that means you can then, let's hatch this next egg. Now, you shiny hunters out there are familiar with the Masuda method. Some of you are familiar with the way of passing down IVs and natures, but not all of you. These eggs are not hatched using Masuda. Just so you guys know. So, is this egg also going to have the right nature? Yes. Because of the Everstone. This is how wonderful this item is. And look, yet again, it's almost perfect. That's because I'm using a 5 IV Ditto and a 4 IV Oddish. Now, what's happening here is it's passing over the attack stat both times. That's from the Ditto. The 4 IVs are also from the Ditto. It's not always going to be that case. As you can see with these, some of them are 3 perfect and some of them have 4. Now, you also might be wondering, how do I make sure it gets the right nature, the right ability? Well, the ability is passed down. If you have the mother be one with the hidden ability, then it's going to have 50% chance. If you have the male be the hidden ability, I think it's something like a 25%. I know it's significantly lower than the female though. So what you want to try to do is you want to try to get this oddish right here, female, run away, which is the hidden ability, and then you want to use that to start with. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this oddish and this oddish and this oddish is going to stay here. Actually, I thought that was a 4 IV. I've got another one around here somewhere. There it is. And this oddish. Now, if you guys put a comment down in the comment section, you will be put in for a chance to win one of those hidden ability female oddishes, which you can try this very breeding method I just taught you yourself. I will actually also give each of them an Everstone. So, if you guys want to try out this this breeding method to get IVs, put a comment in the comment section. Tell me how you found this channel, or tell me something good about your day. Just give me something positive down there in the comment section, and I will randomly choose 3 commenters to receive a oddish. I'm going to say 1 week from the release of this video is the amount of time you have to put those comments in. But obviously, negative comments is not going to be put in because we don't want negativity here on the channel. We're all about positivity. So, is that the only way for us to get perfect IVs? Do I have to breed? No, you can actually hit 5-star raids. They will have a minimum of 4 IVs. 4 IVs that are perfect. So, I believe it's 4 IVs. Yeah, it was 4 IVs, yeah. But that's still not the only way to IV hunt. You can actually IV hunt in another way. That way being, you don't hunt at all. So, what have I just flown to? I've just flown to the battle tower. Why have I flown here? Well, it's to speak to this guy over here. This guy over here is going to help me out with this next part of the video. So what I'm going to do is one of these Pokemon, they're all perfect except for this one. It's in a battle team. That's annoying. Just want to show something off. There we go. This one's not. Okay, so what am I going to do? I can actually pick this bottle cap here. I'm not going to do it because obviously this has been perfected. But what I can do here is I can select this attack and then select let's start the training. And what that's going to do is he will actually maximize your attack stat. Now what were those items I was just using there? They're called bottle caps. Let's put up my bag. For probably the last time in this video. So what have I got here? I've got 11 bottle caps and 1 gold bottle cap. What's the difference? Well, a bottle cap right here you can give to him and you'll perfect one. One of your IVs will be perfected. Put all the way up to 31. Now the gold bottle cap, however, it will actually perfect every non-perfect IV that you have on that Pokemon. I prefer to use bottle caps purely because I don't like maximizing my attack stat unless I'm using a physical Pokemon. But it's up to you guys which one you want to use, obviously. And there are methods for making them. I will cover those in a different video where I go over Chromatic, good recipes in a Chromatic bot, and like covering how they affect your ability to make a competitive team. In this video, we're only really looking at the IVs and EVs. So what have we covered today? We have covered feathers, vitamins, wild battles, bottle caps, gold bottle caps, and the berries that reduce the stat points. We've also covered how to do wild battles to using power items. We've also covered how to pass down IVs through breeding, how to increase your IVs through the hyper training, which they have to be level 100 by the way guys. You can't increase a non-level 100 Pokemon. We've also covered how briefly covered how raids give minimum 4 IVs if you're a 5-star. Now, what else is there? There really isn't, except for one more thing, which I did say earlier, not everyone has the DLC. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to be right back, and when I come back, I will be at a island on the DLC where we can actually manipulate our EVs. So I'll cover more of that in just a moment. And we're back for the final part of this video. So this one right here. Why is she important? And also say hi to my Noiburn while you're at it, guys. Why is she important? Well, it's what she can do. Now you can see I've got 500 Armorite ores. Wow, I've got so many. If I give her 10 pieces of Armorite ore, she will actually put a spell of sand on one of my Pokemon and remove all of its EVs, making it completely blank slate, leaving only its IVs remaining. Why would I want to do that? Well, say I've gone completely messed up with my EVs on a Pokemon. Well, I have. Let's say Noiburn right here. I've messed up its EVs completely. Check the summary. This is literally just my hunting Noiburn. I use it for leveling up Pokemon. You can see that its EVs completely off. You don't want that. If it's a competitive Noiburn, you don't want those EVs at all. So what I can do is I can say yes to her, and she will literally just wipe clean Noiburn's slate. Just to show you guys that it does work, I'll actually do it right now because Noiburn will get its EVs back anyway. I use it randomly when hunting, when like leveling up and EV training. So let's say yes to Noiburn. Give it a clean slate. And now let's pull up Noiburn. Look, its IVs have not been affected at all. And blank slate, completely clean of all of its EVs. How amazing is that? And all it costs is 10 Armorite ores, which you can get from 3 raids in, 3 raids give you 9 plus 1 raid, so let's say 4 raids, giving you 12 total Armorite ores. You'll have 2 left over after doing it. That's not a very heavy cost to completely clean slate free of everything. Now, we have touched briefly on natures. I think what I'll do is I'll save myself from having to do another video, and I'll just explain right now. So, natures give you an increase one stat and decrease another stat. So, let's scroll down here. You can see all my mints here. Lonely, adamant, brave, bold, impish, lax, relax, modest, mild, rash, quiet, calm, gentle, careful, sassy, timid, hasty, jolly, naive, and serious. That's a lot of natures to remember. There are more natures than that, but they only touch on one neutral nature, being serious. So what do these natures do? Well, each of them will increase one stat. Let's say attack, attack, and attack, and then lower another stat. Defense, special attack, speed. Obviously, I'm missing special defense. The only one that is not affected by nature is HP. All the other 5 can be affected. So why would we want a brave nature? We've already touched on this with Ferrothorn. I wanted to increase its attack, but decrease its speed. Because that means that Gyro Ball is getting increased by both of them. And why would we want an adamant nature? Well, why wouldn't I want to have Fire Blast and, let's say, Dragon Darts on my Dragapult? Well, you might want to. In that case, adamant isn't for you. However, quite a lot of Pokemon focus on one offensive stat. That means that they can actually free up more EVs for other things. So it's down to, again, your EV count. You have such a limited EV count. I never actually told you what the maximum EVs were. The maximum amount of EVs you can add to a Pokemon that will affect their stats is 508. You can have up to 510 total EVs, but those last 2 points don't matter because EVs only affect your stats in multiples of 4 and 8. So, if you go for an adamant nature, you can then put more into your attack stat, focus on the Dragon Darts, focus on your U-turns and all of that, and ignore your special attack. You don't have to have any special attacks on it at all. That also helps when you're breeding for EVs. If you're breeding for a mixed attacker, you want to have a perfect 6 across the board. Only 5 of those are actually passed over from from your parents to the egg. So your last one is completely random. You're breeding for completely random EV point. IV point. So bold, impish, lax, relax. These all affect your defense stat and lower one of them. Modest, and all these will affect your special attack, special defense, and speed. Now then, speed is one of the most used natures. If you think about it, you can have all the offensive power in the world, but you still want to be able to outspeed. You still want to have a speed boosting nature, or if you're, so it depends on the Pokemon really. Let's use, well, I've got Dugtrio right there in the party, for example. Dugtrio is quite a fast Pokemon, surprisingly. So, I'm going to go for a speed boosting nature, because I can capitalize on that speed and try to outspeed my opponent. B-Sharp, on the other hand, yeah, its speed is okay, but it's not amazing. So for that factor, I'm going to go for a offensive nature. I'm going to go for an adamant nature. Because I'm not using any special attacks. It's not got Steel Beam, it's not got Dark Pulse. This thing is a physical Pokemon. So I'm going to go for an adamant nature, meaning I can use its naturally high attack stat and ignore its naturally low speed stat. Yeah, you've seen me earlier, I was putting in speed. Now that's so you can outspeed other slow offensive Pokemon. But if I wanted to, I could capitalize on its defense, go defensive, and just ignore its speed and just go for a Trick Room attacker. Now you guys have heard me come across a lot of different terminologies here. I've talked about Trick Room attackers, I've talked about Gyro Ball attackers, low speed Pokemon, mixed attackers. These are all different strategies. Now, they're not going to be covered in this video. We're already at the 40-minute mark. I was planning this being a 30-minute video. Oh well. I've gone over 10 minutes. That's my bad. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to record another video. Maybe not today, maybe another day, but I'm going to record a video going over the different strategies used in Pokemon. So, these different strategies, they're going to be different methods of team building and talking about how your EVs and IVs, they'll be covered again, but we'll be discussing how they can differ depending on what the rest of your team is trying to do. On that video, there will be examples put up about on the bottom about the different types of Pokemon and different reasons why they are what they are. But yeah, all of them will be the same. All of them will show different teams that you'd have, and then we can cover like how those teams affect how you build the rest of the Pokemon. One of the trickiest is going to be Trick Room, but we'll look at doubles, singles, and also while we're at it, probably discuss like how BGC differs from doubles OU as well. Now that video is going to be slightly longer, but like I said, guys, if you want to see that video, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon to be notified whenever I upload new videos. And until next time, stay safe and be kind.